Chided by national outrage, the commander-in-chief calls off the fracture of immigrant families. Will the president's about-face on the border last, or will zero tolerance return as America's standard? 6 months after tax cuts and the nation's economy is cooking. Is the best yet to come, or will the generous reductions bury the government in debt? 4 months out from midterm elections, and pollsters predict a reversal of fortune for Republicans. Can Trump and the GOP once again prove the pundits wrong? 300 days after Harvey's devastation, nearly half of Texans seeking help from FEMA have been rejected. With so many billions set aside, why are so many getting nothing from the government? I'm Greg Grugan, and welcome to What's Your Point, where our panelists call it like they see it. Let's greet them. Starting us off, Republican strategist Jessica Colon. Next up, progressive commentator and attorney Nyanza Moore. In the 3 spot, Bob Price, associate editor of Breitbart Texas. Batting cleanup, Marcus Davis, radio host of Sunday Morning Live. Next up, former state representative Republican Steve Toth. And closing us out on the hot corner, Chicano activist and educator Tony Diaz. Let's do this. About face, a 180-degree reversal. National outrage over the forced separation of families illegally immigrating to these United States triggered an executive order from the president halting the practice, but not before thousands of children were taken from their parents and placed in detention camps. The zero tolerance policy initiated by Attorney General Jeff Sessions appears to be in limbo as prosecution of adults caught crossing with their kids has been suspended. Unless federal authorities can rapidly establish large-scale internment camps for families, analysts predict a return to the catch and release policy which the Trump administration vowed to end. Predictably, the frustrated president has taken to attacking his political opposition.
Our people are actually doing a very good job handling a very difficult situation, but this is a problem that should have been solved years ago. So we're working very hard. The fact is we need more Republicans because the Democrats are obstructionists. They won't vote. They're total obstructionists. They don't want to vote.
To top it off, Friday, Mr. Trump withdrew his support for an immigration bill proposed by moderate Republicans, which he had fully endorsed just 2 days before. So why exactly did the president back down, and what happens next? I'm going to start with you, Tony. I know you're aching to go.
I'm aching to talk about this because, I mean, zero tolerance makes zero sense. You have Donald Trump talking about illegal aliens. He's an illegal president. I don't know if we have time to get into that. I don't know if we have time to get into that. Mueller will show that later on. So our illegal president is turning Americans against Americans because I get it. We're scared. We want safety. Donald Trump, for some reason, wants to make commercials for MS-13. These kids in these baby jails aren't even 13. I am so glad that Americans, I'm talking Democrats and Republicans, united to shut down this humanitarian mess. So I get it. Let's keep the border safe. Let's not put kids in jails. This is disgusting. I'm glad Houstonians, I'm glad Sylvester Turner, our mayor, said no to the baby jail being created a block across from Dynamo Stadium. I want that image in people's heads. So while the adults, the Latino families come out and cheer on a capitalist, wonderful sport, kids 1 block away who look like them are going to be kept in a baby jail? That's disgusting. So I'm so glad that Americans stop this, but let's get something straight. Right now, it's kids. Later on, it'll be journalists. Later on, the activists. We got to make sure that Trump doesn't brand us as a dictatorship.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's the fact. Those are facts.
I just get my duct tape so my head doesn't explode.
Well, logic scares you?
Hold on.
I served with Sylvester Turner in 2013 in the Texas legislature, and we went through one of these baby jails, as you want to call it, Tony. There are 26 of them across the United States in Texas, Arizona, and California. Sylvester Turner didn't give one whit about these places when we went through them in 2014. These beautiful facilities. He said,
feel free to debate
awesome.
the mayor.
There's
You heckled me, I get to heckle you.
There's nothing to worry about it. Now all of a sudden these things are called internment camps by Sylvester Turner and the Democrats. It's total and complete hypocrisy.
Okay, Nyanza, what's your read on all this?
Okay, so whenever you say the Democrats, whatever, let's talk about 2013. When there were more Democrats and Republicans coming together to make immigration reform, and John Boehner at the time, who was Speaker, decided not to put it up because he was not happy that more Democrats were involved in it than Republicans. So in 2013, this mess could have been resolved. Now fast forward to 2018, and now we have more chatter. I'm not sure whether you are upset about the word internment camp or do you prefer baby jail.
Great point.
The fact that you can even say
great point.
the fact that you
You're going to interrupt everybody?
Hold on, people. Go ahead.
The fact that you can even say baby and jail is a problem. When has a baby ever committed a crime? Another thing, I understand that you're towing the line, but your president reversed. So maybe you should just fall back in line behind your president because now he sees my way.
Okay, go ahead.
He actually didn't reverse. He signed an executive order. If the legislation's not right, let's get the legislation right. And the president signed an executive order to resolve this in the immediate moment.
So it worked.
But let's say this. I know it's hard to look back at Democrat presidencies, that this has been going on for decades. And now it's coming to a head in this presidency, and we're going to get it resolved.
So you admit it's wrong.
It has been wrong for decades,
since
Tony.
1997,
and actually,
Tony,
but it wasn't enforced.
Hold on, everybody.
That's not
Let's
true.
let everybody
That's not
talk.
true.
It's enforced under Trump.
It spiked, Nyanza, during Bill Clinton's second presidency.
We're back to Clinton?
Where we are, because this has been going on for a long time.
Not splitting up families.
Yes,
Jessica.
it has. Yes, it has.
Please speak
yes,
the
it
truth.
Has. Yes, it has.
Oh my goodness.
Go
No, it
ahead.
hasn't.
Yes,
it has not.
Yes, it has, Bob.
There's not.
Bob.
You're the
Bob.
only person who's saying that. You want to call on Bob to have your facts?
I'm the only person
Okay,
looking at
stop right
history
now.
right now.
Stop right now. Look, we know that families have been separated, whether they were at the border or unaccompanied juveniles have been placed in camps. We've had them here under both administrations. Bob has spent more time on the border than probably all of us do in his reporting. What's your take on this?
First off, every one of these baby jails, if you want to call them that, is not what they are, but every one of them was built during the Obama administration. So if you want to label somebody with that, feel free. The issue is the law is broken. Congress has not resolved the issue for decades. The problem became exasperated in 2008 when George W. Bush signed a bill that prohibits the deportation of these minors until they can get a hearing. That caused a massive flood of unaccompanied alien children and family unit aliens, Border Patrol terms, to come across the border and create the need for these detention centers. The hearings that you get scheduled for are often 5-6 years down the road, and Border Patrol and ICE say that less than 3% of the people that are scheduled for these hearings show up. So the problem needs to get fixed. The president is trying to get it fixed. Congress needs to get off its butt and get the job done.
Okay, we reported this week on a facility in Baytown that's been open for 8 years. It houses 200 unaccompanied minors. It's been almost like black ops out there. It's been so under the radar. No one ever showed up out there to protest. It's been going on for a while. I agree with you that families have been separated in the border, and that is an escalation. Marcus, close us out on this topic.
Well, the reason that it hasn't been highlighted and the reason nobody said anything during the Obama administration and previous administrations is because it wasn't politically savvy. Guys, this is not about these kids at the border. Unfortunately, yes, there are some people that care about it. Yes, there are some people that are being cruel. But the reality is, this is really about two parties trying to preserve their power. At the end of the day, this is about how Republicans can maintain control. This is how Democrats can try and find a way to blame the Republicans for something that they should have not have done or should have done. American citizens need to pay attention to the fact that the reason we're having this argument is because for 50+ years, we've done jack squat about this issue. For the last 30 years, we have had an acceptable immigration policy to build our economy.
That's right.
We've had an acceptable back door wide open in order that our streets may get built, our buildings may get built, our hotels will have maids and restaurants have waiters, and the agriculture can have their produce picked. We have accepted this. We turn a blind eye when we look at the fruit that's on our table and not pay attention to the fact that right now the agricultural industry is suffering as a result of what we're bickering about. This isn't about what happened on the border right now. This is about which party wants to rule, and we continue to play this volleyball game only to find out that America's not going to win the gold medal.
That's right.
Good discussion. We're going to come back to you a little bit later. Okay, 6 months after the Republican tax cut and GOP leaders say happy days are here again. The question now, how long will it last and what's the ultimate cost? That debate after the break.